Welcome back. For most economic experts, sustainable development can only come through collaboration that will allow all stakeholders buy into a common vision. These were the words of the Managing Director of Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited and Country Chair Osage Okumbo. He was speaking during the commissioning of the Center of Excellence in Marine and Offshore Engineering at the River State University, donated by the company.
Is the inauguration of the Center of Excellence in Marine and Offshore Engineering at the River State University. The Center of Excellence, which is donated by Shell Petroleum Development Company and its joint partners, is in partnership with the River State University to produce top graduates and postgraduates in the area of marine and offshore engineering.
The establishment of a Center of Excellence in Marine and Offshore Engineering by the petroleum giant SPDC is a huge step in our desire for collaboration between the industry and the academia.
The managing director of the company believes the oil and gas industry is ever evolving in innovation.
In SPDC, we recognize that the challenge in our industry and in Nigeria in general provide us opportunities to participate in this game of innovation.
Representing the state governor, the Commissioner of Education hopes that this partnership will be long-term.
And we're particularly delighted to learn that Shell is not simply coming today to make a donation and leave, but they have pledged their decision to continue to collaborate, their decision to provide grants, their decision to be here and not quit. God the Son, God the Holy Spirit.
It's now time to see the facility. The Executive Secretary of Nigerian Content Development and Management Board is impressed with what it says is a state-of-the-art facility.
Coming here to see this state-of-the-art facility that has been built by SPDC, like I said, is not surprising. It's a company that wants to do something and do something that is good.
The idea behind this collaboration is to allow those with the relevant qualification and experience add their own quota to the development of oil industry to the country. By so doing, the yield sum of money spent in employing expatriates may in turn be used for the indigenous experts trained through this project. Emmanuel Iri, Channels Television News.
And we're moving on to the business news of the day, and reporting tonight is Emana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. Latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that the unemployment rate in Nigeria rose to 14.2% in the fourth quarter of 2016 from 13.9% in the preceding quarter. The increase represents the 9th consecutive rise since the fourth quarter of 2014. The report also shows that the unemployment rate had risen to 21% from 19.7%. Youth unemployment and underemployment inched higher to 19.31 million persons, with unemployment spiraling higher in the urban areas. The Bureau reports that Nigeria had the 40th highest unemployment rate in the world and the 21st highest in Africa for the period. And the Securities and Exchange Commission may revoke the license of about 400 capital markets professionals on July the 31st. The SEC says that the operators in question include reporting accountants, solicitors, and estate surveyors who fail to provide updated information of the operations. The Commission says it will invoke the provisions of the Investment and Securities Act of 2007 that compels all capital markets professionals to update their registration with the regulator. The SEC's directive to operators was first issued in December 2016 and again in February this year. And heavyweight stocks in the oil and gas as well as industrial goods counters lifted the NSE All-Share Index higher today Chimezie Obiwagu has the trade summary.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The Nigerian stock market remains bullishly bullish as the new week begins. The all-share index went up today by almost 4%, with the market capitalization finally into the 11 trillion naira mark. All sectors recorded gains, with the highest sectoral gain coming from the industrial goods sector. 44 stocks posted gains, while 13 posted declines. Amongst the 44 gainers, Mobil gained the most, increasing its share price by 10.25%, followed by Corn Oil and Flour Mill. On the other hand, the decliners table was led by Union Dicon, CNI Leasing and Jay's Bank in that order, with Union Dicon the highest loser in percentage terms, down 4.95%. In all, a total of 640.43 million shares were exchanged in 7,024 deals, valued at 7.67 billion naira. Volume drivers remain the banking stocks, with FBN Holdings, FCNB and Fidelity Bank at the top. Traders are in a wait-and-see mode to know how sustainable this rally would be. And that was the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimezie Obiwagu.
Thank you, Chimezie. Now, Nigeria's oil exports this month are expected to hit a 15-month high, as one of its main export terminals, Forcados, is set to resume output in the Niger Delta. The Forcados oil terminal was lost in February 2016 to vandalism by militants in the oil region. Several attempts to restore the facility proved abortive. Last week, reports showed that Nigeria and Libya were responsible for higher output of crude among members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Both producers are exempted from the current OPEC and non-OPEC cutback at the deal reached last November. Nigeria's oil output was trimmed last year following repeated attacks by militants on major oil exports. However, these have since abated on new partnerships pushed by the federal government with the oil communities. And it was a slow start to the new week for major markets across the globe as the shares of Apple declined on a rare downgrade in the United States. Here's a snapshot of some of the markets. And that's it on Business News. I'm Emana Amawe. It's back to Ladi for the rest of the news at 10.
You first. First Bank.
The federal government has challenged manufacturers and investors operating in the country to take the maximum advantage of the various policies and initiatives and ensure Nigerians good returns on their investments. The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, gave the charge while commissioning Procter & Gamble's state-of-the-art Always Ultra production line at its facilities in Agbara, Ogun State.
The multi-million-naira Always Brown state-of-the-art production line. The management of the company said it's a bold statement by Procter & Gamble to expand its footprint and its unwavering confidence and commitment in the development of the Nigerian economy, an attempt at delivering innovative products for its numerous customers.
P&G has dedicated resources to work closely with the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council team by providing supply chain experts toward this project. Nigeria remains a focus area for P&G, and our various activities continue contributing to the economic growth.
NAFDAC provided strategic guidance to enable P&G meet essential regulatory requirements, while at the same time facilitated fast-track mechanisms for the registration of the product.
The Ogun State Governor, Ibukunle Amosun, while commending the management for the bold step in its investment drive in the state, assured genuine investors of a conducive atmosphere for business to thrive and good returns on investment.
For us in Ogun State, we will continue to support initiatives like this, because we know if you are going to get it right, it must be private sector driven. One sure way of creating wealth for our people and creating that much needed employment for our people is through initiatives like this.
Nigeria's acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, reiterated the commitment of the federal government to partnering with genuine investors to grow the economy.
Economic stability for us, opportunities for our people, and also for you as well. So I'm really looking forward to some bold statements or plans by you as to how quickly you are going to get down to only 10% importation of raw material, and how quickly you are going to get down to 0% and all that. And our business as a government is to work on the things that you complain about, making sure that we work on infrastructure. And that's a day-by-day, night-by-night thing for us. Every moment, we're trying to work on power in particular.
After the commissioning of the production line, the acting president and the Ogun State governor, among other dignitaries, were conducted around the facility by the managing director of the company.
Reactions have continued to trail news of the passing of former Health Minister Professor Babatunde Osotimehin, who died earlier today. A statement from the office of the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, describes the late executive director of the United Nations Population Fund as an illustrious Nigerian who always stood up for what he believed was right. Also reacting, the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, extols the professionalism of the late former provost of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. Professor Osotimehin, a former Under-Secretary General of the United Nations, was praised by the UNPF as a visionary leader who was highly dedicated to promoting the rights of women, girls, and people in general. In an interview with Channels Television, the late Professor Osotimehin spoke on two issues he had great passion for: health and the rights of the female gender.
If I qualify in medicine today and I don't have access to housing, I don't have access to a car, I don't have access to good education for my children, I'm going to be very nervous. You cannot give people 5,000 every month and expect them to give productivity of 50,000. It won't happen. So there is a need to reconfigure and think about what we are going to do with our public service. I have no answers, but I just believe that that's something that we have to do. But Africa must act. It's not about just saying it, it's about doing it. So, Africa's food security is maintained by women. Women farmers are the ones that provide food for the table. Why are we not compensating them? Why are we not giving them rights to land? Why are we not empowering them to produce far more than they produce?
Former Minister of Health, Professor Babatunde Osotimehin, who died earlier today, aged 68. Still ahead on the news at 10, the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire midfielder Sheikh Tiote dies in training with his Chinese club side. That's coming up in Sports News. Please stay with us.